Hi, I'm Ashley and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a themed reading vlog, and I'm going to be reading contemporary romances that have flowers on the cover. And I wanted to do this because it's officially springtime now, and it has been for 3 weeks at the start of filming this video. Today is Wednesday, April 5th, and where I live, I feel like we're stuck between spring and winter still, because there's some days that still feel like winter and are in the 40s like today, and then days like yesterday where it's in the 60s and it feels like springtime. So I wanted to do this theme vlog to try to channel some spring vibes. So the books I'm going to be reading for this vlog are The Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams, The Wedding Season by Katie Burchell, and The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. And in addition to reading those 3 books, I also want to do some like springish activities too. So I'm going to be buying flowers, which I actually already did this morning, so I'll include footage for that after this. And also some springtime baking, going on a walk, and also maybe doing a springish arts and craft. So I'm gonna start with the Bromance Book Club, and I also have this book on audiobook too that I borrowed from the library. So I'm gonna start this today, but I have to go to work later on today, so I will be back with my update and my first thoughts about the Bromance Book Club tomorrow. And tomorrow is also supposed to be really nice out in the 60s again, and I'm off tomorrow, so that would probably be like a perfect day to go on like a nice little walk. Hi, so it is the next day. I survived work last night and back with a reading update. So I have read the first 100 pages of the Bromance Book Club. So our story follows married couple Gavin and Thea Scott. Gavin is a Major League Baseball player, and Thea is a stay-at-home mom to their 2 twin girls. And currently their marriage is in trouble at the start of the book, and Thea wants a divorce, but Gavin wants to try to make things work and wants to save their marriage. Gavin's friends want to help him save his marriage, so they introduce him to their secret romance book club. And Gavin, of course, is skeptical that reading Regency romance is going to help him save his marriage, but his best friend is part of this book club, and his best friend says that the book club actually helped him save his own marriage, so Gavin reluctantly decides to give it a shot. Meanwhile, there are also chapters from Thea's perspective where we get her feelings and her side of the story, and we learn from her that she feels like she has lost herself over the years and has turned into a stranger, because being the wife of a Major League Baseball player comes with a lot of expectations. And since Gavin is on the road a lot, she's had to deal with a lot of things on her own. So that's a little bit about the story. And now for my thoughts. So far I am enjoying this book. I would say though that I wasn't pulled in right away, but that just might be a me thing because I'm more of a fantasy person than a contemporary person, so it always takes me a little bit to adjust from going to reading fantasy books to reading like contemporary romance where there's no magic or anything. However, once I reached the 50-page mark in this book, that's when I felt like I started to be pulled into the story and I started feeling invested in what was going on, so hopefully that feeling will continue. And there have definitely been some already funny moments in the book that have made me smile, and most of those are related to the book club. And because of the whole book club concept and how I find it so interesting and amusing, I have found like that I favor Gavin's chapters a little bit more than Thea's chapters at the moment, because I just find them more interesting. Oh, also, in addition to getting Thea and Gavin's perspectives, you also every so often get an actual chapter from the Regency romance book that Gavin is reading, that his book club told him, you have to read this book. And at first, like the first time I read it, I wasn't sure how I felt, because I felt like it was just kind of like, oh, here you go, just throwing it into the middle of the story. But then the second chapter of the Regency book that was included in the book, I actually appreciated more, and I started to see like how it mirrors what's going on with Gavin and Thea. So yeah, that is where I'm at so far in this book. Now I am going to go on a walk. It isn't quite as nice out today as I was hoping it would be. It's cloudy and not sunny, but it is 60 degrees out, so I'm still gonna go out for my walk, get some fresh air, get some exercise. I'm gonna be listening to this on audiobook. So yeah, let's go on a walk. Hi, so I finished the Bromance book club and I'm back with my final thoughts. So I really liked how this book focused on a couple that was already in a relationship, because I feel like the majority of romance books that I read are about couples becoming couples, so it was refreshing to read something a little different. I really liked the concept of the book club, and it really made the book for me. Some of my favorite scenes were with the book club and its members. I found the discussion about Pinterest to be hilarious, and also their talk about washi tape also made me smile. Mac and Vlad, the Russian member of the book club, were two of my favorite characters. I just found them both really interesting and amusing, and I just want to know more about them. And there are currently 4 more books in this series. And the second book is about Mac and Thea's younger sister Liv, so I'll definitely be reading that one. And then the 4th book in the series is actually about Vlad the Russian, so I'm super interested in reading that one as well. Overall, this was a really enjoyable and solid contemporary romance. There were cute scenes, there were spicier scenes, there were funny scenes, there was enough drama to keep my interest to the end, and the Bromance book club gave it a unique twist. let's talk about The Bodyguard. So this book follows Hannah Brooks, who has a very interesting job. She is an executive protection agent, which is basically a bodyguard, but she's more like an undercover bodyguard. So at the start of the book, Hannah is going through a very rough time. Her mother has just passed away. Her boyfriend, who she also works with, breaks up with her the day after her mother's funeral. And then her boss, saying that she needs time to cope, takes her out of the field. Which is like the worst possible thing for Hannah, because how she copes is usually escaping, so she'd rather be anywhere but where she is. Then when she finally does get a job, she still remains stuck in the state of Texas because her job is to guard famous movie star Jack Stapleton. And for this job, she has to be Jack's fake girlfriend because he doesn't want his mother to know that he needs a bodyguard because his mother has been sick, so he doesn't want to cause her any more stress. So that's the gist of the book. So now for my thoughts. I thought this was a really cute and sweet rom-com, and it really gave me Hallmark movie vibes and just left me with a warm, happy feeling inside. And then there was at the end, there was a twist that I wasn't expecting at all. And I was reading it in the morning before I had my tea, so it really caught me off guard. And I was just reading it like, what is going on? And I started getting mad because like, no, like this can't be happening, right? So I had to like tell myself to just calm down, put the book down, go get my tea, which I did. And then I came back and finished it and everything turned out fine, but it just like really caught me off guard. I also really liked the epilogue and how it included not only an update on Hannah and Jack, but also a third character, and that really helped to leave the book with a hopeful, uplifting feeling about just like people and life in general. So now let's talk about the final book that I read for this video, The Wedding Season. So this book follows 32-year-old Freya Scott, who after months of planning and work is finally only a day away from her dream wedding with her boyfriend of 12 years, Matthew. However, the day before her wedding, her dreams are abruptly shattered when Matthew breaks up with her in a broom closet. Now Freya must somehow survive the wedding season, attending 7 of her friends' weddings that summer without thinking of Matthew and their wedding that should have been. Fortunately, Freya's best friends Ruby and Leo come up with the wedding season survival guide to distract her. At each wedding, Freya must complete a task that is outside her comfort zone, such as being the last one standing on the dance floor. So that's the main premise of this book. So now for my thoughts. So overall, I enjoyed the wedding season, whereas The Bodyguard gave me Hallmark movie vibes, this one gave me Netflix rom-com movie vibes. However, unlike most rom-com movies, the ending of the wedding season felt a lot more realistic, and it was also still very cute. The ending of this book was something that I thought was really well done, that I really liked. Also, the focus of the wedding season was very much about Freya coming to terms with Matthew leaving her the day before her wedding, and while there is romance in it, and the romance in it is very cute and very well done, it isn't the main focus of the story. Also, speaking of the romance, it isn't quite like enemies to lovers, but the Freya and the love interest do get bad first impressions of each other, so it kind of goes from like dislike to friends to lovers. So this book was 374 pages long, and sometimes it just felt long, like it felt a little too long, like there were some details that I feel like we didn't really need. And I actually found that I enjoyed the second half of the book more than the first half. And during the first half, the characters weren't really like clicking with me, and it wasn't until like the second half of the book where I finally felt like attached to these characters, to Freya, to her friends, to new love interests, and to her family. Oh, but there was one thing that I loved about the beginning of the book, and that was the first line of the book. So the first line reads, "Has anyone seen the peacocks?" And that line, I was just like, what? Like, dragged me in and got my attention immediately, so I did love that. Overall, though, I enjoyed this book, and like The Bodyguard, the ending left me happy and smiling. So yeah, that's about the end of this video. So to wrap up the video, the 3 books I read were the Bromance Book Club, and this one's part of a series, and I definitely plan to read the other ones. The next book I read was The Bodyguard, which is a standalone, and then the final book I read, another standalone, The Wedding Season. And I would definitely recommend all 3 of these, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a cute and fluffy romance, I would say read The Bodyguard. If you're looking for something that still has cute moments, but is about a couple who's already in a relationship and also has some very humorous elements to it, I'd recommend Bromance Book Club. And then lastly, if you're looking for something with some romance in it, but also has some self-healing and also focus on relationships with family and friends, I would recommend The Wedding Season. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, what you thought, if you plan on reading any of them. Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.